Hi, and welcome to a Spider Strategy Scoreboard training video. In this video, we'll cover creating dashboards in Scoreboard. Scoreboard dashboards provide you with plenty of advantages, such as better visibility into your organization's performance, time savings with consolidated views of data, information, and actionable insight. It's easy to view actual versus planned results in a dashboard. Dashboards provide you with mobile on-the-go insights across smartphones, tablets, laptop computers, and desktop computers, and dashboards are shareable outside of Scoreboard. With that said, let's jump in to Scoreboard and review some dashboards. I've logged into Scoreboard and have landed at the Scoreboard homepage, where I have visibility to a primary navigation pane, a homepage navigation pane, a welcome message, any alerts that pertain to me, responsibilities, and the access to Scoreboard support. The focus today is on dashboards, so let's click on the Dashboards section header in the black primary navigation pane on the left. We'll verify the organization that we want to work with, which for today's purposes will be the Key Measures organization and the dashboards that exist within that organization. We'll start with the Call Center Key Measures dashboard, which is a classic cockpit dashboard, providing me with color-coded visualization to performance across 6 different call center KPIs. They are color-coded to give me immediate insight into performance, actual scores, normalized scores, performance versus previous time period, and visibility to the red threshold and goal threshold values that have been assigned to each of these 6 KPIs. The next dashboard we have available to us is the Product Delivery and Effectiveness dashboard. Again, this is color-coded according to the normalized scoring system and showing me that frequent use customers are underperforming and are thus colored red, although they are doing better than the previous time period as displayed in the trend arrow in the upper left. Infrequent use customers is performing well. Average monthly use is again underperforming and is in a downward trending fashion according to performance against last time period. Each of these KPIs give me a simple description of what they measure and visibility to their actual value for the current time period. In addition, we have a chart at the bottom showing me the comparison of frequent use customers versus infrequent use customers. In this training video, we'll show you how to recreate the Call Center Key Measures dashboard and the Product Delivery and Effectiveness dashboard. But before we get there, let's just take a look at a couple other dashboards. The Key Measures History dashboard gives me information about key measures across our entire organization, marketing, improving brand awareness, increasing lead generation, and improving customer retention. The User and Influencer Engagement dashboard gives me insight into Facebook likes, Twitter mentions, Google search positions, and article mentions. The Sales Breakdown dashboard gives me basic information about our sales performance, and the Sales Performance Funnel shows me performance in sales in terms of ad clicks leading to number of leads and number of new trials and ensuing number of new customers. Let's get into creating new dashboards. The first dashboard we'll recreate will be the Call Center Key Measures dashboard, which again is a cockpit style dashboard. We'll start by clicking within the dashboard section on the New Dashboard button at the top. We'll give this new dashboard a name of Training Call Center Key Measures, and then review our starting layout options. We can start with just a blank canvas, or we can take advantage of Scoreboard's offer to create speedometers, linear gauges, charts, or bubbles for all 15 KPIs that exist in the Key Measures organization. In our case, the KPIs that we want to represent on our dashboard actually come from a different organization, so we will not take advantage of the opportunity to create an auto-generated dashboard of speedometers, linear gauges, charts, or bubbles, and instead we'll select blank and click Create. Within the Create Dashboard interface, after naming the dashboard, we'll provide ourselves a little more room to work by selecting the Full Screen button towards the upper right, and then click on the Add Your First Widget button in the upper left. we're going to first add some speedometers. So we'll click on the speedometer selection, change the organization that we're working with to the customer support organization, and on the right, open the help desk area where we have some KPIs that we'd like to view on our dashboard. Calls handled, click add, average abandonment rate, click add, percent calls answered, add, average time to answer in seconds, add, average time to resolve in hours, add, and first call resolution, add. Then click away to the right. After the adding process for 6 different scoreboard gauge widgets onto our dashboard, we have the opportunity to work with each of these scoreboard widgets independent of each other. They can be moved, dragged around, and positioned wherever you like them. Each of them have their own properties settings, such as background colors, drill down destinations, what should be shown, how big they should be in terms of size, whether they should be kept in front, whether they should be locked, and if you'd like to delete them. You also have the opportunity to lasso around all of the gauges and use any of the gauges editing properties to apply some universal settings such as a solid background, what you'd like to show. We'll add the scores, the normalized scores, and we'll add the thresholds for each of these 6 KPI speedometer gauges. From there, we'd like to resize each of these gauges to make them a little bit bigger. So we'll click the size setting and give them a width of 250 pixels. After that, we'll remove ourselves from the edit mode and drag and drop the speedometers where we'd like them to reside on the page. You don't have to worry too much about vertical and horizontal alignment because we have an alignment capability to help you out. With the left 2 widgets, I'll lasso around both of them and use the Align button in the upper left to align them on the same left hand side. Similarly, the 2 widgets in the middle, I'll lasso around both of them. Again, use the Align button and the left hand selection. And the right 2 widgets, again, lasso around both of them. And in this case, I'll align them on the right hand edge. Next, we want to horizontally align our speedometer widgets. So I'll lasso around the top 3 and use the alignment button to align them along the top. And along the bottom 3, we'll lasso around them and again similarly align them with a horizontal top alignment. From there, simple drag and drop to reposition things specifically and exactly where you'd like them to go, and we have a finished dashboard. But before we leave this dashboard behind, let's spice it up a little bit with some logos and an inspirational message. The first thing I'll need to do is provide a little bit of space for the logo and the message. I'll lasso around all 6 speedometer widgets on the page and use my arrow button on my keypad to move them down synchronously to get a little bit of space at the top. In the upper left-hand corner, I'll click the Add Widget button and select Image. A new image object is provided on the dashboard, and I'll move it over to the right just to get a little bit of space to work with it. I'll click on the Click to Choose an Image and select the Scoreboard logo and click Open. The Scoreboard logo is presented, and then I'll place it in the upper left-hand corner where I'd like it to reside and resize it to the size I'd like to see it at. Next, we'll add some text by selecting again, Add a Widget. This time we'll select Text. Again, I'll reposition and move that object, double click on it to add the text I'd like to provide, which is Scoreboard is awesome. After providing the desired text, I'll highlight the text and use the edit properties at the top to give it a desired color, which will be bright red. We'll bold it, we'll underline it, we'll make it stand out big and strong with a font size of 30. We'll center it within the text box, reconfigure the size of the text box on the dashboard screen. And then we'll reposition that text box wherever we'd like it to reside on the screen. After that, we'll just again lasso around our 6 speedometer gauge widgets move them back up, move them a little bit left and up. And now we have completed this scoreboard dashboard. And before we move on to working with our second training dashboard, please remember to click Save in the upper right-hand corner. When you're done saving, click Exit Full Screen to get back into edit mode. And then if you want to see how this dashboard will look to your scoreboard consumers, click the Done button at the lower right of the black navigation pane. And if you want full screen presentation, reduce the size of the black navigation panes out to the left, and voila, you have your dashboard presented in full screen mode. Let's now move on to creating another dashboard. To get started working on our second training dashboard, let's reopen the two black primary navigation panes and review the product and delivery effectiveness dashboard that we will recreate. We'll click on the New Dashboard button, give it the appropriate name of Training, Delivery, and Effectiveness Dashboard, and again, we'll select the blank Starting Layout option and click Create. To design our dashboard, we'll click on the Add Your First Widget button and navigate out to an existing scorecard object. Note that the bubble option, chart option, speedometer, linear gauge, report, notes, and initiative timeline all have rightward pointing chevrons that empower you to tie out to existing scorecard objects such as scorecard items, initiatives, existing dashboards, charts or reports, briefings, or documents. In our case, we want to select a bubble, scorecard item, and navigate into the product delivery and effectiveness area of the key measures organization and add frequent use customers, infrequent use customers, and average monthly use. We'll then click off to the right to view the resulting bubbles that have been presented to us. While the three bubbles presently on our dashboard were added simultaneously, they each exist independent of each other and can be dragged and dropped around the dashboard to dynamically expand and reposition the size of the dashboard. They each have their own property settings using the gear icon in the upper right of each individual bubble, and they again can be lassoed around to work with simultaneously by clicking on the Edit button for any one of the three bubbles. To make the changes we desire in this case, we'll change the size of the bubbles to be rectangular. We'll change the background setting to be solid. We'll adjust what is being shown on each of these bubbles to include the description and the actual value and the score for each KPI. And we'll adjust the size to be a width of 250 pixels. Then we'll click away and drag and drop each of the three bubble widgets wherever we'd like them to reside on the dashboard, and again take advantage of the alignment capability to align them horizontally along the top edge. Our dashboard is off to a great start, and next we'd like to add a chart to the dashboard. To give ourselves a little more visual space to work with, I'll click on the full screen button towards the upper right. Then we'll click on the Add Widget button and select Chart, navigate out to a scorecard item, and within the product delivery and effectiveness area, we'll select the frequent use customers KPI and click Add. We're immediately presented with a chart for the customers or the frequent use customers information. We can drag and drop the chart wherever we'd like it to reside on the page and resize it. Understanding that we'd like to compare frequent use customers against infrequent use customers, we'll click on the Edit button for the chart, select Edit Chart, and we'll add an additional data series or series to this chart. Again, we'll navigate into the Key Measures organization, and under the Product Delivery and Effectiveness area, select Infrequent Use Customers and click Done. We now see both the infrequent use customers and frequent use customers KPIs existing as series within this chart. Before we view the chart, let's adjust the time period being shown to reduce it down to a 6-month period. So I'll reduce it to showing 5 periods earlier. And again, looking for visual contrast between infrequent use customers and frequent use customers, let's change the color of the infrequent use customers to red, and then click Done. The resulting chart looks great, and we have the opportunity to hover over the red circle and the blue circle to focus our attention on the 2 different KPIs being presented in the graph. But let's imagine that we'd also like to see a more detailed table of information depicting what is shown in this chart. We can click on the Edit button and select the Show Table option and scroll down and see that we now have a detailed table of information giving us month-over-month information about these KPIs over the 6 months that we're reviewing. The table itself has its own properties editing capability where we can limit what is shown to make this table into just a legend for the graph. In terms of presentation, we'll leave the scorecard item on, we'll turn off the presentation of the organization, the series name, and the series data, and then reduce the size of the table, reduce the size of the chart, reposition the table, and resize again the chart so that we have now this sense of a legend and a chart. Now that we've created this training, delivery, and effectiveness dashboard, always remember to click the Save button in the upper right corner. When you're done working in full screen mode, click Exit Full Screen. And when you're done editing and working with the dashboard, click the Done button at the bottom of the black navigation panes. If you'd like to view this newly created dashboard in full screen mode, reduce the navigation panes to the left and view your dashboard. The next topic we'll address is the use of background images on dashboards. At this point, we'll reopen the navigation panes and review the nature of a sales performance funnel dashboard. This dashboard was built with simple bubbles and charts based upon superimposing them on a background image of a black funnel. While we won't reconstruct this entire dashboard from scratch, we will share with you the nature of how this dashboard came together using a combination of bubbles, charts, and a background image. Let's get into edit mode on this dashboard and review the nature of what it is comprised of. I'll click on the full screen button to more easily view the entire dashboard. In edit mode, note that I can drag and drop and move and reposition the sales funnel. I'll make it exceptionally small for the time being, just to get it out of the way so we can talk about the nature of the charts and bubbles that really comprise the scorecard fed information on this dashboard. We'll start with the charts. They're charts just like the one we worked with in the last dashboard, where they each have their own properties and are set to be quite simple in nature by just being set up as bar charts tied to 6 months of information with one KPI. The color-coded and scored names of the KPIs on this dashboard are effectively bubbles. They began their life as basic bubbles like we saw earlier. Let's show you how one of these color-coded names of KPIs came into existence. We'll select the Add Widget button, select Bubble, go to Scorecard Item. In this case, we'll go to Product Delivery and Effectiveness and grab Frequent Use Customers. It has been added as a bubble on the dashboard. This bubble looks different than the other KPI indicators. We'll change the properties of the bubble to have no background, set the font size to 16, and set what it's showing to just the name. And voila, you now have a KPI that is like number of ad clicks or number of leads. We don't need this on the dashboard, so we'll remove it by deleting it. The lines that exist on this dashboard were added as text widgets. We started by clicking Add Widget, selecting Text, and in the text box, simply typed in a bunch of dashes, and there you have your line. that can be positioned anywhere you want it to be on the dashboard. Again, I'll delete that line. Again, remember that the key to this particular dashboard is the sales funnel image that was added in the background. This image came from simply clicking Add Widget, Image, navigating out, and finding the desired visual image that we want to present on the dashboard. Again, I'll delete this version of it and resize and reposition the original sales funnel on the dashboard. Of course, at this point, after doing any work editing a dashboard, you want to click Save in the upper right-hand corner, then exit full screen, and again, back in edit mode in Scoreboard, click the Done button towards the lower right of the black navigation pane to remove yourself from edit mode. The next and last thing we want to cover in this training video, which we've seen but haven't really addressed deeply, is the availability of auto-generated dashboards in Scoreboard. As you've now seen a couple times, when you create a dashboard in Scoreboard, you get the opportunity to give it a name, which in this case we'll call auto-generated. Next, you get to select a starting layout. So far, we've employed only the blank option. But let's quickly review the opportunity that's presented to you at the top of the page, which is to get you started with your dashboard. You can automatically add widgets for all of the KPIs in the organization that you're working with. Let's take a look at a dashboard auto-generated that provides us with speedometers. We'll select speedometers and click Create. You see that we're immediately provided with a robust populated dashboard full of all 15 KPIs from the Key Measures scorecard. We can click full screen to better view all of the 15 measures. And again, know that you can lasso around all of the KPI measures and work with them in union to adjust things like their size, what they present, how their background appears, and how they're positioned on the dashboard page. After playing with an auto-generated speedometer dashboard, I'll click back, not save the changes, and try a linear gauge. That's again auto-generated, and select Create. Again, we'll get all 15 KPIs from the Key Performance or Key Measures organization presented on the same dashboard. Again, I'll click back. We'll select Charts and Create. Select Full Screen and review the results. And lastly, click back one more time and select the Bubbles option and click Create. So you see that the auto-generate capability is a great opportunity for you to start the creation of a dashboard including all of the KPIs for a given organization on one screen, sparing you time and effort to bring them all on manually. At this point, we'll wrap this training video on creating dashboards in Scoreboard up by reminding you that we've shown you how to create a couple of different types of dashboards in Scoreboard: a cockpit style dashboard, a general management overview style dashboard, and a sales performance funnel dashboard. In addition, we've hopefully empowered you with the knowledge and encouragement that in edit mode, dashboards are effectively blank canvases, which provide you with the opportunity to add a wide variety of screen widgets, which tie out again to a wide variety of underlying Scoreboard scorecard items. Should you have any additional questions about Scoreboard and dashboard creation in Scoreboard, please contact us at learn@spiderstrategies.com. Thank you.